What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate you guys. So today, like I mentioned in the last video, we are going to be working on the Centurion and just making sure that this thing is roadworthy. So we're going to be going over that, and we're also going to be going over the plans for the build. But first, we got a few things for the channel to try and make it better. Basically, we've had this channel now for a few years, and we started filming on an iPhone like 5 or 6. I don't know, an old iPhone. And then I jumped to a GoPro, and that's what I've been filming with now forever. It's a GoPro 7. And it's done great, but they have a huge disadvantage. And something that really doesn't help me because I'm not that good at talking. And that's their internal mics absolutely suck. So I got it, I finally decided to upgrade to an external mic. So that's what this is. So I'm gonna throw all that stuff on the camera, test it out, see if it's better than this, and then we'll move on to the truck. So I actually bought 2 different microphones to see which one works best for us. So right now, this is the one that got here. Tomorrow we get the other one. So we're gonna test this one today, see how it sounds. And then we'll try the other one tomorrow. And if you guys could help me out and drop a comment and let me know which one sounds better, I would really appreciate it from you guys. Whichever one doesn't really work, we'll return. Anyways, I'm gonna throw this stuff on real quick and then I'll come right back. Also, one of the things that I want to fix by going to this to an external mic is that every time you touch the camera, it sounds horrible. Like it has this just horrible noise that I hate. So like every time I turn it around like this to show you, you know, what I'm working on, and then turn it back, I don't know if you heard that noise, probably, because it always does it, but that's one of the main things that I want to fix. If I can at least fix that, I'll be pretty happy. Okay guys, so this is a new mic and hopefully I sound a little bit better. I'm gonna do a little test of grabbing the tripod, kind of turning it around and see what you guys can hear. Hopefully nothing. Also, hopefully you can hear me good from this angle. So like I said, we're gonna be going over the truck today completely because if you've seen the last couple of videos, I bought this thing a few weeks ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And to be completely honest with you guys, I haven't really been driving it. I haven't been doing anything with it yet. But that's gonna change pretty soon because the regular cab, single cab, is gonna be coming into the garage over the next week, and it's gonna get torn back apart so we can start working on the coil buckets. I really gotta get those things done. But before we do that, we have to go over this entire truck and make sure that it's not gonna kill us. So let's get straight to that. Okay guys, so we got the Centurion in here, and like I said, I'm gonna go over mainly the suspension stuff, and we're gonna be doing a complete service of this thing. So we're gonna go through all the oil in this thing, and that's just because even though the oil looks good and the guy said that he took pretty good care of it, I don't know that for sure, and I don't know when the last oil change was. Like there's no sticker on this thing or anything that lets me know when it was. So you definitely want to know you definitely want to have a record of all that stuff on your truck, especially if you have a 7.3. It's very important that you have your fresh oil in that truck. You change your oil around every 5,000 miles. At least that's what I do with my truck. And that's what we're gonna do with this thing. Maybe not 5,000 miles, but we're gonna change the oil and stay on top of the maintenance from now on. Another good thing to do is to make sure you start keeping a log of your maintenance. So maybe get a little notepad or something and write down after you bought the truck, that on this date and at this mileage you did all of these services. So like I said, we're gonna go down here and just do kind of a visual inspection and just see how everything looks. Basically, we're looking at all of our joints, making sure that nothing looks too worn out. That one looks pretty bad. We're gonna test the ball joints here in a little bit. This thing is a 2-wheel drive as well, so kind of sucks. As you can see, like all of these joints are pretty much gone. Steering stabilizer, that looks pretty shot too. And looks like we have an oil leak coming from maybe somewhere in the power steering. We're definitely gonna do our steering. That definitely needs done, and you can definitely feel it in the truck when you turn it that the steering isn't doing that great. Now obviously while you're under here, you're looking for any leak that you can find. The bushings on the arms don't look that bad, to be honest with you. So let's see, what about this one? That one looks pretty decent too. Oh, I'm surprised. So other than this leak that we have right here, like I said, I think it's from our power steering, but I'm not 100% sure because the front of the engine actually looks pretty dry. I don't really see any leaks, or at least nothing major other than this stuff. It looks pretty good under here. The radius arm bushings also look pretty good. What doesn't look too good is down here. We've got a pretty decent leak, which also we have to figure out where it's coming from. Kind of bummed out about that one because when we picked up the truck, it was not this wet at all. So it's a pretty decent sized leak, as you can see. Kind of sucks working from your back because you can't see anything. Okay, so I just went ahead and checked the ball joints on the truck and they seem to be pretty good. Let me show you the way that I did it. So the way that I like doing it is by jacking it one side at a time is fine, and then once it's a little bit off the ground, get a pry bar or whatever you can use. I got a sleever bar, and put it under your wheel and kind of just lift up on it and see if it has any play. This one seems to be pretty good. There's really not a lot of play. Another thing that you can also do is just grab it from the top and the bottom, give it a good shake. Now this one has a little bit of play, but I still think that it's an acceptable amount. It's nothing really crazy. Okay guys, so I also went ahead and removed the hubcaps just to inspect our lug nuts and everything to make sure that everything was tight. Everything looks good. I also checked the air pressure on the tires. That's pretty good too. Which this thing has, like, the front tires are the only two decent ones, but they're mismatched, and I don't like that. But hopefully it won't have to be like that for long. But anyways, they both look good. They have 60 pounds of air. Everything's tight, so I'm pretty happy with that. Although one thing that I do want to ask is, what air pressure do you guys like running on your trucks? I know that the single cab, I actually run that pretty low. I run it around 40-45 PSI. I've just found out that it gives me a much smoother ride, and I haven't noticed any weird wearing of the tires. I've basically ran it at those pressures, even down to like 35, ever since I've owned it. And like I said, the tires have always worn nice and even, and it just rides way smoother. If I ever haul heavy with it, like if I have a lot of weight in the back, or if I tow a trailer, that's when I go up to like 65, I think 60. So I think I'm gonna leave this one as is, because like I said, it's just rides so smooth that I don't think I need any of that. But I do want to know, what do you guys run yours at? So anyways, now that we looked this thing over, that oil leak, I'm pretty sure it's actually coming from the oil pan gasket, because that's kind of the only spot that I see the oil where it starts leaking. The top of the engine is super dry, no leaks whatsoever, or the front. So I think it's coming from either the oil pan gasket or the transmission pan gasket. Either those two are leaking, or just the engine pan, which kind of sucks. It really sucks actually. Like I said, when I bought this truck, I looked underneath it and it was completely dry. So I don't know if the guy that sold it to me kind of took a pressure washer to it and got it nice and clean and then sold it to me, and it was just one of those leaks, you know, that leaks a little bit over time, or if it just happened, which, I mean, what are the odds? Anyways, you know, that's fine. We'll take care of it. And I already went ahead and ordered all of the stuff for the steering. We just have to go and pick it up at O'Reilly's. That's another question. What do you guys like better? Here where I live, we only have O'Reilly's and AutoZone, and I kind of tend to like O'Reilly's a little bit better, but they're both the same. Anyway, so we're gonna get all the steering stuff, get oil, and everything else we need to really take care of this truck. So that's gonna be exciting. It's about $200 and some, so definitely not cheap. Okay guys, it's the next day. I ordered all the parts that I needed for the steering from O'Reilly's, and I just went and grabbed everything that we need to rebuild the steering on this truck. And also, this came in the mail. This is the other mic I want to try out. So this is actually a much fancier looking mic, way more serious than the one that I'm using currently. But like I said, the problem with this one is that it's a directional mic, so it works best when you're talking directly at it. So we'll see how it works. Okay, so now we have the new mic on, and we'll see how it works. Like I said, hopefully it works good. Like I said, the problem is that probably right now you can hear me pretty good because I'm speaking directly at it. But if I turn you around like this, I think it's gonna be a huge difference in the audio quality. But we'll try it out for a little bit. So anyways, like I said, I've got pretty much all the rod ends and everything to rebuild the steering on this thing. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't really buy anything like high quality. I kind of got the cheapest of everything. And that's on purpose. I don't want to spend too much money on the suspension on this thing. Like I said, I want to put stuff on there that's more of like a safety thing, you know? just so that we can drive it for now. And the reason is because I really want to do an axle swap on this thing. You know, obviously that's kind of what my channel is centered around, axle swaps and bumper swaps. And like I've been saying, I really want to do an axle swap on this thing. So I don't want to spend too much money on the stock stuff, but I do want it to be safe. The brakes and everything else is in good shape. The guy had actually said that he had redone the brakes completely right before he sold it, and I checked it out and everything looks good. So at least we're good in that aspect. But the steering was pretty shot. Like I said, it's kind of wobbly, it's loose, so I'm hoping that this kind of fixes that. And other than that, the truck is pretty mint. So like I said, we're gonna switch this stuff, gonna do the oil change and just get it in good shape. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I do want to ask you guys some stuff and see how you feel, because I want to make videos that you guys like and want to see, and you guys are probably aren't, and you guys are probably too interested in stuff like this, but it's stuff that we got to do to the truck anyways. But what I really want to ask you guys is, the problem with this truck and right now where I'm at is that the single cab would barely fit in here. Like, it was a tight squeeze. Like, it's a decent sized garage, but it's definitely not meant for these trucks. Like I said, the single cab fits in here with maybe like a foot and a half to spare, and that's it. So there's no way in hell this thing's, you know, ever gonna fit. Maybe if it was to park it like lengthwise in here, we could maybe work that, but then I would have no room to like work on my stuff. So I think I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. Like I've said before in this channel, the plan is to get a shop either by the end of the year or early next year. And I think we're gonna have to wait to do the major stuff on this thing until then. So I won't be able to axle swap it this year. I won't be able to do an engine swap this year. But I do want to keep this thing going and keep it interesting. So what I was thinking to do to, you know, keep it interesting was do kind of a small build on the 460, kind of just mainly bolt-ons. Some of you guys recommended the guys from EFI, the EFI 460 guys. I checked out the website. They have some really cool products for these trucks. So I was thinking getting some of that stuff, maybe doing an exhaust, headers, you know, all of that. Like I said, I want to do stuff to this truck, keep it interesting, you know, so that you guys like it. But I also don't want to waste the money on that because it's not necessarily cheap. So if it's something that you guys want to see, let me know. Let me comment down below if you want to see a small bolt-on build on the 460. Hey, stage 1 if you would, you know, kind of like we did on the OBS. Because like I mentioned before, I've always wanted to work on a 460. I just don't want to waste the money if you guys aren't interested in it. Anyways, as far as axles, like I said, it's probably going to stay like this, unfortunately, for the rest of the year. Unless I can get a really good deal on axles that I can't pass up, then we'll buy them and I'll see how the hell I'll swap them. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to ask you guys. Now there's really nothing else to do but to jump on this thing, get everything installed, and take it for a test drive and see how it feels. Also, I don't think we're gonna be keeping this mic. We are probably gonna go back to this one. I still have to edit the video and see how it sounds, but just from hearing it on the GoPro, from playing back some of the clips, every time I do this, unless I'm really close to the camera like I am right now, it sounds like poop. So unfortunately, as cool as it is, I think that the ticket's gonna be this little one, at least for our channel, which is fine because that's the cheaper one, so we'll save a little bit of money. So I'm gonna go ahead, jump back to this mic, get this installed and finished, and we'll take it for a test drive and see how it feels. Okay guys, so we got all of our old parts out, and then we have the new ones sitting right next to everything. And I suggest that you guys do this just so you make sure that all the parts at least look close to being close enough. Everything that I have looks pretty good. So the next thing I'm gonna do is, on everything that I took off, I'm gonna take measurements from the center of the joint to the center of the joint and write those down. That way when I kind of put this other stuff together, I have at least a ballpark of where it's at. The truck actually drove super straight. The steering wheel was nice and centered. So I think the alignment on it was actually pretty good. So the closer I can mimic this on the new stuff, the better it will be. So the only thing that I have to do is take them apart and reuse these little joints right there. And we'll be good. Okay guys, we got the steering on this thing pretty much completely done. It looks pretty good. We checked the alignment and that looks pretty good too. We basically measured from the back of each side to each other and then on the front and compare that, and that looked pretty good. So the only thing left to do with this thing is take it for a test drive, and then we'll come back here and see what it feels like. Okay guys, we just came back for the test drive, and this thing actually feels pretty good. It feels nice and solid. It still tracks straight, so I'm pretty happy with the results. Like I said, it was kind of loose, so it kind of fixed that. So I'm pretty happy with that. The thing that I'm not gonna do right now is the oil change, just because like I said, I gotta figure out where that leak is coming from and fix it. So once I have that fixed, figured out, then we'll do the oil change. Because I don't want to do that just in case I have to like drain the oil again. That would be a drag. So like I said, we'll save that for another day. For now, we're gonna go ahead and actually wash this thing, because I haven't washed this since I bought it. So hopefully it turns out pretty good. Okay guys, so my dad and I just finished cleaning out this thing, and it looks pretty damn good. I was afraid that if I washed it and kind of washed away all the wax that the guy before me put on it was gonna look all dull, but it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with this thing. Anyways guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Like I said earlier, make sure you kind of leave some comments down below and what you want me to do with this thing. Should I do a quick bolt-ons build of the 460, or just leave it alone and save the money for the come-in swap or the DT360? Like I said, whatever I can find first is what I want to do to this thing. And as soon as we can get some space to be able to work with this thing, because it's too big. Anyways, definitely, like I said, leave some comments, leave a like, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.